listening to Nexxlegacy Radio, a radio station for the people.
All right, let's do it. This is Charles Madison of Nexxlegacy Radio, and I have my man here, man. This guy, I haven't talked to him in a while. It's been a hot minute, but I'm glad he's, staying on the scene, doing a lot of different things. He has a book out called Traffic Fight. We're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about boxing. We're going to talk about life in general. And this man is brought to you by justisaac.com. Make sure you check him out on all social media as Just Isaac, professional actor, author, recording artist, 6 boxing titles. This man is world traveled, and he is here. He is live on Nexxlegacy. Just Isaac. What's good, man?
Hey. How you doing, Charles? Good to be on here.
I'm blessed, man. Blessed. I'm here. I'm grateful to have you on deck. And before we start talking about all this other stuff, man, I want to dive right into this book, just Traffic Fight. And people out there, Volume 1 of the series, Fight the Shadows, is now available if you go to justisaac.com. So let's start there, man. Like, what was the motivation behind it, bro?
The motivation behind it. Well, the thing is, I've had access to sensitive files for a lot of years. I've had access to sensitive files, some of the most worst cases in the nations, and I just, I was writing a book, a motivational book, and I put it on hold. I stopped it because I felt I felt impressed internally to go this route, because there are children, there are women that have their freedom stripped from them. And it's not only women and children, there are some men who even had their freedom stripped from them. And I decided to, incorporate everything that I have experienced and everything that I have encountered with, even with individuals, without breaching confidentiality, with respecting people's, privacy. I have developed a book. It's called Traffic Fight. And this book is a novel. It's fictional. And but there's a lot of stuff that's in the book that has happened in real life, and it's a heart-pounding novel about 2 sisters that find themselves thrust into a world of darkness and danger, and when they become victims of human trafficking and the sex trade, to be straight up. And these sisters are no ordinary captives. They're trained fighters. They're skilled in combat, and one excels in boxing. And I'm in that realm of boxing and in MMA. And there was a treacherous landscape of the sex trade, and it goes into details of things that have transpired. You know what I'm saying? And they rely upon their strength, determination, and faith. And there's some stuff that happens in the novel, in the story, I should say, that is unexplainable to the natural mind. Does that make sense?
Yeah, It does. Listen,
so this novel,
I want to ask you this, because it's intriguing, and I encourage people to go to justisaac.com to go check it out. Like, you were touching on subjects that is out there, but is not out there mainstream, or it's not out there where enough. We don't get a lot of people talking about it, right? So, what are your thoughts on that, and why it is not as public, I guess, in a lot of ways as it should, or you don't get a lot of people talking about it?
Well, I think that this shows that there are certain places within the earth realm, our spiritual condition. I believe that it shows our spiritual condition within the earth realm. I mean, these are individuals who have been violated. Their human rights have been violated. Their vulnerability has been violated. And I believe that there are actual territorial spirits that have been set up. There's things that are set up to block us from, doing what is right. It's called intimidation, and it's called fear. But I wrote a book prior to Traffic Fight called Think Fearlessly. And I have to live by the words that I speak. There was a man by the name of Customato. Customato was Mike Tyson's trainer. And he said these words, and they resonated with me. He says, there's a hero and there's a coward. They both feel the same. It's what they do that makes them different. So even when we feel intimidated about something, or no one else may be involved and just be spectators, we got to come to grips with, purpose, and the purpose has to be greater than ourselves. And I believe that this is part of my purpose, is to be a beacon of light and an advocate for those who have been who have had their freedom stripped.
And I think it's important for people to soak this in. And you're absolutely right. I always feel like there's a lot of life journeys that it's, I don't want to say kept from us. Like, I feel like somebody like yourself or me or others, we have to go searching for the truth in a lot of different ways, because a lot of people, for whatever reason, that live through the generations or know the history and don't want to discuss, will not talk about. And I commend you for reaching out and touching on a subject that is, extremely important for knowledge and education and things like that. So what have the response been, as you're going through, and you're probably doing a lot of different interviews and talking to a bunch of different people who are supporters and things like that? Like, how have their reactions been, and what are some of the things they've been telling you as far as just the outside people, your fan base, your public?
Well, some of the people, some of them have read the book already. They've ordered through pre-sales, and they've said that the characters have been brought to life. I think that what inspires someone to be a part of something is it being relatable. When it's relatable, when you can relate to it, and I just want to share something with the men and the women and of this world. The men we're called to protect. I believe that we're called to protect and to lead by example, and I believe that women are gatekeepers to life. Women are gatekeepers to life, and that means that no person, no man or no woman has entered into the earth realm without going through the womb of a woman first. Naturally, we're speaking of the natural, and then children are people too. Children are, because a child, it may be like sponge. They're like sponges. Children are so precious. They're innocent, but you know what? They should be protected. They should be loved. They should be cared for. That should never grow old or out of style. We should always, because this is our future. The children are our future. And, I'm going to say it like this. I don't have time to tickle anybody's ears. You asked me how people responding to what it is that I'm saying. I don't have time to tickle anybody's ears. I got to say it that, it's better than a milestone be tied around somebody's neck and them to be sunk into the bottom of the sea than to touch one of these little ones. And that's what God said. I believe that children are the closest thing to God. There's an innocence and a purity that they have, and as I said before, women are gatekeepers and they should be protected. The womb of a woman is the gate into the earth realm. So that's my viewpoint and my humble opinion.
I respect that, and not only that, that's a great way to be able to at least, tap in, because what you're speaking is truth, and sometimes, we have this level of respect for women and what they do and what they go through and how different they are from us men, right? So the word gatekeeper sounds very valid for a lot of different reasons, not just by what you said, but also they create a sense of stability even for us men, as we're the protectors, right? They're the gatekeeper, so they keep it nurtured. They keep it inspirational. That's why we need inspiring women to, Isaac, you know how it is, bro. Like, man, if you have a woman who is really pouring into you and is just, supportive, as a man, you can't do no wrong, man. You feel like you are 100% on your job if you got that supportive woman, right?
That's right. And this is what I mean, that we need to protect what is valuable. So we need to protect women, and we need to protect children. And we need to protect the young man, and the old man needs to be protected as well. But we're speaking right now about, exploitation and abuse, where victims of human trafficking are often subject to extreme, like physical and emotional and psychological abuse. It's horrendous, and I couldn't sit back. I remember looking out the window, and I was looking over the escarpment, and I was thinking to myself that somewhere in this world, there's a child that is suffering, because someone has the idea within their mind that is quite hideous, that it's more important that their bank account is full than for that child to have freedom, or children, or a woman to have their freedom. I don't believe that there's enough money in the world. I don't believe there's enough money in the world. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world yet lose his soul? And when we steal that freedom from someone, there's a part of someone that is being lost. And in this novel and in this book, it's all uncovered. It's all uncovered. And there's some dark things that I was hesitant about writing, but I had to pour out, because sometimes realistically we can't experience a paradigm shift until we see where the problem is. So we see that it actually exists. That paradigm shift, sometimes things are hidden from those of us who are so-called intelligent. But if more people in the world would just get involved in traffic fight, it's a global movement. It's not just a book. It's not just a novel. This is a series within a novel, but this is something that can be incorporated within everyday life. Us learning how to, protect one another, because this is actual criminal activity that's taking place. And listen, I'm not going to tell you that my life started off on the right track, because I'm from the streets, so I'm speaking, from the place of being involved in criminal activity myself years ago. But, my heart has shifted and it has changed. And I thank God for his grace. And I thank God because I believe that, without a doubt, it is the absence of God that causes chaos, that causes destruction. The absent, because he speaks to the conscious. I mean, even the dog knows right from wrong. That this thing that is transpiring in the world it could be done different. This does not need to happen. We have to see that lives are being destroyed, communities are being destroyed. Trafficking destroys the lives of individuals, and it devastates families and communities. So I just feel, I believe in perpetuating the cycle of good things. Not poverty or inequality or social instability or robbing someone of their freedom. There's not enough money. Money is not evil, but it's the love of money that will cause an individual to succumb to this, or their own broken state, their own spiritual condition. So in this book, it's interesting because Charles, it goes into specific characters, and you actually begin to see how people think and why they would do what they do, and how there's situations where there's chaos, but yet you see victory take place. It's very interesting, and it has a twist and it has a turn to the story as well.
Traffic Fight, Volume 1 of the series, Fight the Shadows, is now available. If you go check out justisaac.com, and I have my man with me right here live on Nexxlegacy Radio. And I mean, I feel like on a Sunday, or any day, doesn't matter, 7 days a week, it's always great to be able to get gospel, people that is passionate about something other than themselves. I'm gonna take a different little walk, a little different than the book or whatnot. So I just want to get your life perspective on certain things. So as we talk so passionately about others and what's needed, recommended as far as spreading awareness, there's just so many closed-minded situations in this life. I feel like it's always been like that, and I feel like it's even gotten more so with the adoption of social media and platforms and people who feel like they just have a voice to be able to be heard, even if it's negative or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Where did it go? Where did it go wrong is one question, and then how do we get it right is the other.
Okay. So I believe that it's a spiritual condition. It's an unveiling of the condition of a man or a woman or a child's heart when we see what is transpiring in the world. When you speak about social media and different platforms, or you speak about different subject matters, I believe that it is a condition of the heart, and I believe, as I had mentioned earlier, that the absence of God, it brings chaos. The absence of God, there's no light, and when there's light, there is an unveiling and there is a revelation and truth that comes that helps us to be able to see, the direction that we should take. And I believe that the moral decline that we speak of, the moral decline that you were speaking of, and the conscious state being ignored as far as being good things, anything that's pure, that's good, that's righteous, that's of good report, that's virtuous, anything like that, it has become the norm for there to be resistance, for that to be pushed. So I know even with movements that are positive movements in the earth, there's going to be a resistance, but I believe that the light will shine. There's an intensity that comes when a person is not only passionate, but they're compassionate about seeing, something change, about helping individuals to see what we talked about earlier, the paradigm shift. Activation is real easy. Something being activated is real easy, but cultivation is not easy. Cultivation takes time. And I believe that as a society, we have been subjected for our cultivation, especially over the last 10 to 20 years, we've been subject to information that is not necessarily truth.
I always feel like this, Isaac. We have so much information and possible knowledge that we haven't even unlocked yet. Like, I feel like as we progress in a lot of what we do and how we do it and who we do it with, we have so much opportunity to learn from each other, to learn the mistakes of the past, to learn how to move and progress forward, to how to nurture and cultivate. Like we've been talking about, since we started, like how to do certain things that can be able to not just lift each other up, but educate as well. I look at social media as a blessing and a curse in a lot of different ways. If it wasn't for certain things, then we may not have ever met. Maybe we would have met in a different platform or whatever the case may be, but we're here. So you got to take advantage of what's here. Do you get from the other people you talk to in general, or even people that you're close to, that do you feel a sense of we're almost there, but we're just not quite there yet, and then it's just going to take more people talking about stuff like this or putting certain things out there like your book and what you do and go about life and be closer to God? Like, I know a lot of people aren't spiritual like that, but I am, and I know you are, and I know other people are, but then they still veer away, and I know that, other distractions or whatnot. Do you feel like we're almost there, but we're just not there yet, but it's going to take people like us to be able to put this out on the street and keep it there so people can be able to acknowledge or at least self-reflect?
Yes. So there's an intensity to the what's being superimposed through media, through everything. But I'm going to be straight up, as I mentioned in the beginning. I'm not here to tickle anybody's ears. I believe that Yeshua HaMashiach is the way, the truth, and the life. And I believe that there are those that are standing right at the door. Now, this is not, I believe that every opportunity that I have on a platform, that I have to speak of my source of power. My source of power comes from God. And when I pass this on, listen, I know what it's like to live and not want to live. I know what it's like to be suicidal. I know what it's like to be hungry walking the streets. I know what it's like to be strapped. I know what it's like to do different things that, that are contrary to what my DNA actually, what God has caused our DNA to evolve into. And, it's a progressive journey. It's a transforming that takes place. But I believe, Charles, that it's a spiritual condition. And see, we're trying to fix things in the natural, but the things that are transpiring are happening in the spirit. Did you not know that everything that happens in the spirit is voice activated? When we begin to, I spoke about this in Think Fearlessly, when we begin to speak, words that have life and have the spirit of revelation, when we begin to speak words that have life into the atmosphere, those words don't just disappear. We should never say bad things about ourselves, even if others are saying them, and we should not accept it. So I believe that, Charles, that the way the world is evolving, I believe that it's an individual and it's a personalized things, but there are people that are found within the masses that catch the revelation and they say, wait, my life needs to change. I need to do things different than what I'm doing them. And I believe that that it's an encounter, it's a spiritual condition, and I believe that as Yeshua has said, he said, you shall know them by their character, by their fruits. If you look at a tree and it bears good fruit, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, and you can eat of it. But, there are, trees that are bad trees that they're not bearing good fruit, and so in other words, there are vessels to honor and vessels that dishonor, unfortunately. And I believe anyone that would hurt a child, anyone that would do something to take away freedom. I know you wanted to veer away from this topic. It's just
you're good. You're good.
It just permeates my heart, man. It permeates my heart that there needs to be an understanding of the real meaning for life. The real true meaning for life is not how much we can get. It really isn't. It's how much we can give. Yep. And that goes against what we've been programmed. If we have that type of mindset that selflessness is what we have for something to reach towards, it will cause the transforming power, and I believe transforming power comes from God, to spread across the nation. And I believe there is going to come a day when that's going to happen. And then there may be a falling away, but we don't need to wait till a crisis. We don't need to wait till a major earthquake, to say yes to the gift of life and say yes to doing what's right.
Amen to that. I always look at it like this. You were hitting the world heavy with a lot of good games. Just Isaac is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. And I always talk about generational curses, right? Like there's always specific things in people's lives where, they grew up accustomed to that. I feel like I've been a product of dealing with some things that was a generational curse, some bad, some also good. I wanted to be the first person in my family to own a home or to get through college, stuff like that, right? There's a lot of different kinds of internal generational curses that some people have dealt with for years on end because it was passed on to their parents or to their grandparents and so on and so forth. We, as far as the people, tend to overlook that in a lot of different ways because a lot of us, and I'm saying us because we the people, we tend to just look at, this is just how it is. It's just the way that it was built, so I'm just going to continue to keep this going. Why do people don't acknowledge generational curses as much as they should?
I think it's just ignorance. It's just ignorance, generational curses, evil deeds, that does not rule the world because it's more powerful. Right. The devil doesn't rule the world because he's more powerful. He rules the world. He rules because of our ignorance. And we start to realize who we are. And we start to realize, that we can live above things that damage our body, things that damages other people's bodies. We can live above, stripping someone of their freedom. We can live above bondage. And I believe it's just ignorance. you know, if you see an alligator, the alligator is very powerful in the swamps, very powerful. It's made for the swamps. But if you see a lion is powerful. A lion is powerful, one of the most powerful beasts in the jungle. But if you place that lion in a swamp, the lion doesn't stand a chance. If you take that alligator and you try to bring it to a place where the eagle soars, you know, eagles are meant to soar above storms. Eagles soar above. So when there's a storm, then the eagle rises above the storm. The storm actually pushes the eagle higher. But a lion or an alligator cannot even operate within the DNA of an eagle. So I believe that it's all part of our spiritual DNA. And our spiritual DNA, I got to tell you, Charles, there's hope for us. When I say us and humanity, our spiritual DNA can be altered. You don't have to stay the way that you are. I don't have to stay the way that I am. I am evolving. We are evolving. But I believe that it comes down to us educating ourselves and equipping ourselves and understanding that the weapons of our warfare, they're not fleshly. What we're fighting against is an invisible war. It's an invisible war, but it manifests itself in certain ways. And this is not speaking in a way that, you know, I'm not promoting spiritualism. That's not what I'm promoting. It's love. It's loving yourself and understanding who you are, who God has made you to be, that you have a purpose, that God has a vision for you, and he wants it to give birth. He wants that vision to give birth, and he wants to give you the opportunity to be his vessel. He's giving it to you already, to be his vessel, that you can be a light in the world. But in order for that to happen, we have to be able to listen and listen to the right things and be part of the right things.
Chef Isaac is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. Make sure that you go check out now. It's available. Go get it now. Go onto his website, Traffic Fight. And also check out Think Fearlessly as well. I think that's important for the people out there to just grab the content from my man. It's not, listen, as an author, and you know this too, anything as an author, musician, I mean, even you know, your journey in boxing and music and all that stuff, you're not just doing this stuff for yourself. You're giving this game to the people. Like, you know, it's showcasing art at its highest level to be given to the public to consume when it comes to effort and, you know, talent and things like that too. And Isaac, I know there's an overflux of, you know, musicians, there's an overflux of artists, there's an overflux of a lot of different things. And my question, and I know it's simple because I know you're real big on faith and path and journey and doing things organic. How can we decipher, and I'm talking about this like giving game to the people, how can we decipher organic content versus content that people just do for clicks or likes? Because you know that's out there too.
Yes. I think that there needs to be a line, and we need to know what the line is. My line, the line that I use, I'm going to be straight up with you. I find that the scriptures, the Holy Scriptures of old that were written by the prophets, I believe that the interpretation at times has been tainted. And so it's caused a derision and caused a blinding and an unconscious biasness. It's called an unconscious biasness, where we feel that many people feel that they cannot rely upon the scriptures. But I'm going to tell you that the scriptures are a map for our life. The scriptures are a map for what we need to do and how we need to do it. It's a map for our life and life in abundance. This is the thing when I was speaking earlier about the absence of God. If we make a decision and our conscience has been seared, that means there's like a callous making decisions. When we hear something that speaks to the conscience and we feel conviction about that, I believe that we should respond to it. So when you read something, if it violates your values, you see, values are so important that we have values that are distinguished, values that they run in correlation and they're conducive to good life for not only ourselves but the lives of others. And when we have values like that, that helps us to distinguish and determine what it is that we should follow or what it is that we should go by. But I would say that, my goodness, the greatest story ever told, the greatest book ever written was the scriptures.
That's it. And it's not like I'm not trying to, dust off, faith in the scriptures, because I feel like you're absolutely right. There's a term that I've used, and sometimes, I'm old enough to know that I'm still learning about surrendering every single day. Like you and me, you talked about more so than I did, just the path. I mean, I wasn't always in this right, in my opinion, it's the state of mind that I'm in terms of growth. You have to learn some hard lessons in life and years and decades of trying to do what you need to do. But the one thing that has been key to me as I'm flipping through scriptures and I'm learning more about not just the word, but just me about understanding and comprehending what it is, I'm also learning about surrendering. I'm talking about surrendering not just to your faith, but also to, my future spouse and my kids, being a parent, being a son, being a man who wants to grow and give back. I'm learning about how to surrender to that every single day. People don't talk about surrendering. And not only that, it's something that you have to practice every day, right? You can't just say, oh, you know what, I'm going to surrender today and it's all good, and then tomorrow you're on some different stuff, right? So surrendering is key as you're learning more as you're flipping through scriptures as well, right?
Right. Yes, we have to have a tutor and a governor. We need someone that's going to tutor us and that's going to govern us and to help us to understand the direction to take at times. Anyone who says that they're not following anybody is a liar, because we follow whatever it is that is before us. And there are images and there are messages that are being they're being pushed, they're being superimposed, and they're causing us at times, because it's happening, we're being bombarded with information, and there's a process of programming that's involved within mainstream in the world. And I understand that. But at the same time, I just believe that every day, like you mentioned, every single day, we do something that we know is right in accordance to our values and conviction from God.
And that's the most important thing you can always take from it. Just Isaac is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. And with everything you got going on, man, being an author, 2 power books that is available if you go to justisaac.com. It's available now. Go buy it. Not just buy it, consume it. And hit this man up on his social media platform at Just Isaac to let him know exactly how you feel about it, why you feel about it, and level up with your game and information. So I'm going to pivot to music. You doing music lately? Okay. Like what's your soundtrack to your life going on right now? What you got going on, bro?
Okay, to be honest, I with music, I love music. I've always loved music. My dad was part of New World Productions, and the torch is going to be passed for music. I know I loved LA. Hey, listen, when I was in LA, I had an excellent time. I toured LA. I was in Inglewood. I was in South Central. Yeah. I saw Compton, and it was really incredible. The top 40. I mean, you know that I made the top 40 across the United States, and I was number 6 in the country, number 21 in the country, and my songs played, and it was really an incredible time. But I believe that I've transitioned into film and television and literature, and I'm also a life coach. And I have global access to me. People are calling me from all over the world for sessions, for life coaching, one-on-ones as well. Just a note as well, you can also get Traffic Fight on BookBaby. You can go to bookbaby.com. You can find it there, as you mentioned, justisaac.com. And if you want to connect as well through IG, it's Just Isaac JI. And, I love connecting with people. I love seeing, the transforming power that's within me, that God has placed within me, working someone else. I'm an empowerment specialist. I'm not, I'm Just Isaac. That's it. And when it comes to music, though, yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man. Yeah, bro, you're more than Just Isaac. Even though you're Just Isaac, man, come on, man. Heavy supporter. I've been a supporter of yours for a long time, so I appreciate you for real. Like,
I appreciate that.
But all right, Dan. So, all right, since we got through the music part of the Q&A, when it comes to that, let me ask you about boxing then, because you got,
yes.
you got
yes.
Six-time champion is nothing to sneeze at. So it's to me commended, respect. I mean, you had your journey when it came down to that, and you did what you need to do. But I'm gonna ask you, bro, what happened to the sport, man? Where'd it go? Is it still out there?
Woo!
It's on the back of a milk cart right now. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's there's a bit of a struggle that's going on, but I believe that boxing will be around for another 100 years at least. It evolves like everything else evolves. There's different rules and different things that are transpiring within the game. But I love boxing. I love watching boxing. I still train when I'm not on the road. I still have the opportunity to train fighters and train those that with fitness goals. I've trained celebrities. I've trained many different people through mobile boxing. It's called mobileboxing.ca. And I love boxing, but I think that boxing is a classic sport. It's just classic, even though we go through seasons of politics and fights being handed to fighters that shouldn't be winning and stuff like that, and people taking drugs but this has been going on from the beginning. It's been going on from the beginning. So boxing is just evolving, I believe, but I believe it's a classic sport.
That will never go away. I mean, luckily we have some classic channels that we can go back and peel back the layers of what was when it comes to specific ones. You're a champ, so I'm not going to count you in this question, but do you have some moments in your being a fan of boxing in your life that you were just like, you know what, I can go back to 1970, 80, 90, whatever, and replay a boxing event like it was just yesterday, even though you may have looked at it over and over and over again? Was there a match or specific that you could just man, I gotta watch it again just because it was just historic?
Yeah, I like the days of Jack Johnson. That was the first black heavyweight champion of the world. I saw how he caught punches and then he would take the fighter's hand and twist it behind his back, and he basically knock him out. And I love Joe Louis, the Brown Bomber, when he knocked out Max Schmeling, and there's guys like Willie Pep. Willie Pep would be right in front of someone, and he was like the old version of Pernell Whitaker. So yeah, I'm a boxing historian. When I think of the old time fighters like Jack Dempsey, who the Manasseh Mauler, he would just keep coming, and that's kind of where Mike Tyson got his style from. So there's so many great fighters in history that have. I love watching old fights and I love watching the new fights. I just love boxing. Yeah. It's a great sport, and but at the same time, I know that there are some things that are around it, the politics and all of that. I've been very blessed to be in the realm where Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather Sr. Floyd Mayweather Sr. was my last trainer when I was fighting, I've had Sugar Ray McGivern and Hank Boone and Hector in Buffalo and Ricky in Western New York. These guys that trained me Brody Boone. There's so many people that have poured into me throughout the years when it comes to boxing. And this is another reason why I have a great appreciation for it, is because I know what it entails. And there's lots of parallels to boxing with life. If you've been down, you can get up. If you've been down, you can get up. It's going to keep coming. There's going to be shots thrown, but we got to know that, listen, if we keep it moving, and we zero in on what it is that we're supposed to do, everything good's going to happen. It's going to happen. The dots are going to connect, seeking the will of the Father first.
Self-sacrificing is what I always say when it comes to that. I mean, it's definitely a competitive sport, but also, like you said, you have a lot to lose. It's, a lot, but also a lot to gain when it comes to certain things like that. I think that's that's a true testament for the people that have, stayed in that for as long as they have. And like you said, I mean, it carries a life cycle with you with anything, really. Like, boxing is just like music and too. I mean, it's an oversaturation, but the real ones are going to still stay in it, or they're going to still be able to get their niche and be able to find different avenues in order for them to, what we always say, man, pay it forward. Because that's all we do.
Right.
All we doing is living this life to pay it forward. We're not containing anything ourselves. It's just a matter of what we got to do to get it out to the public so they can consume it, for better or for worse. Hopefully they can be able to get just this game right here today with us. Somebody can go and be inspired to be like, you know what, I'm not just going to just check out Just Isaac. I'm about to contemplate how I can be able to level up like he did or I did or whoever. You know what I mean? Like, that's all we do in life. Yes,
that's true. And, this time that we're living in right now, is, I mean, sports and entertainment, it still exists. The way things are going in society, we have to get an understanding of our true assignment in life and what life is truly about. We gotta really come to grips with that. It's time. It's time. If somebody listening to this right now,
Yeah, we've been asleep at the wheel for so long, man. It's just time for us to not just wake up, but just be active. Don't be reactive. Just be proactive in how you want to be able to tackle the things, stuff like that goes on in life. Right. Just Isaac, my guest, Nexxlegacy Radio. And in closing, man, I want you to, I know we've been talking about justisaac.com and, everybody can follow you on your social media, but I want you personally to tell your people and the people getting to know you, not just where to find you, how to have you. I just want you out there on book tours as well, because if anybody want to book you or whatever, I need people to just go find you and network with you. So you got the floor, man. Yes. Tell everybody where to find you.
Okay, yeah. The best way to find me, if you want to book me for speaking engagements, I do motivational speaking as well. I can be found at mobileboxing.ca. That's mobileboxing.ca. Mobileboxing.ca. I could be found there, and it gives a few links to my the other outlets. And I love to connect with you. And just know this, that your life is valuable, and fear is only a thought. Fear is only a thought. It's not. It hasn't even happened. So just stay true to what you know. You are being told through conviction of the Holy Spirit. You know that there's a better way to do things. And you that's listening right now, I want to take this opportunity. If you're contemplating, rather, you can make a lot of money. Just remember, it's not money that's evil, but it's the love of money. And we want to live a good life, and we want those that we're connected to, every attachment, every connection that we have, to be good. Just Isaac. JUSTISAAC.
Give that to him once again.
JUSTISAAC. JUSTISAAC.
Make sure you hit my man up. Social media, website. I can't thank you enough
for reconnecting. It's been a handful of years. Like I told you, you and I had dialogue when your first book dropped, and it's been a long time. So glad to not only have you back, but I appreciate you for continuing to just level up each and every time. Like I see you on social media. I see what you do. I see how you move. I see how you pouring into others. And I think that's important for everybody out there. Like I'm an avid, not just supporter. I mean, you can call me a fan. I don't care. Like, bottom line is I just want to support this man and his mission in life and what he wants to do. And I can't thank you enough, not just for tapping in and hanging out with us on Nexxlegacy Radio, but just, you know, inspiring me to do more too. Like, I always feel like sometimes, you know, I feel like I'm good today. But after talking to you, man, I think I got to go do something else extra today. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel, right? So I'm just saying, man, you just give me a little something extra. Let me see what else I can do to impact people's lives, man. Like, that's how you do, man. I appreciate that, though. That's love right there. So,
Charles,
what's up?
You an encouragement, man. I appreciate you having me on your show, and I appreciate your energy. Nexxlegacy Radio, definitely. I want to be back, and I love this station, man. I love your program.
Hey, man. Hey, invitation is acknowledged, man. Like, seriously, I'm going to read this book, and you and I are going to have a book club, and you and I are going to talk live to the people, and we're going to share little excerpts. I don't want to give everybody the game of this book. I just want to take pieces of it, dive into it, and then just share. And then we'll just drop the mic and let people go buy the book and come back and holler at us. And anybody else out there that's inspired to want to call in, come on, man. That's what we do. I'm ready for it. So, of course, you're coming back. You have to.
Volume 2 of Fight the Shadows should be out in mid-January. But we're focused on this one right now. This is the one right now, the traffic fight. It's a movement. It's a movement.
Volume
it's a fight.
That's
if you can see right now, Charles, I'm throwing punches.
Yeah.
Traffic fight.
There it is. There it is, man. I can't wait to have you back, man. You and I will stay connected. I'll tag you on all things social media and stuff like that, man.
Yes.
Just keep elevating, man. Keep your levels up. I'm proud of you, man.
Yes.
Let's do it again.
Stay strong. Stay strong.
You too.
Thank you for listening to the #1 radio station for the people.